So the next thing, after you kind of identify all the different types of media that you have, a lot of times the next thing that we need to do is organize it. And a lot of times that's where we get stuck because we get overwhelmed. And my little guidance for encouraging you to get it organized and some little helpful hints is to first organize it by type. So get all the slides in one place, get all the movie films in one place, get all the pictures in one place. And usually the pictures, that's what we have the most of because we've been taking those for the most number of years. And so that's maybe the biggest hurdle of organizing. So how I recommend that you tackle the pictures that aren't organized is to first, for your group, probably organize them by century, right? So the 1800s, the 1900s, and the 2000s. And then organize it by decade. So probably the 1900s we have the most of. So make a pile, a box, a bag of some kind of all 1960s, all the 1970s, all the 1980s. So this helps you break it down so it's more of a manageable task that you can see that you could accomplish. And so it's a challenge a bit when you see a picture and you're like, oh, look at her, she was so cute. Do you remember that day? So you can't get yourself bogged down in that. You have to say 1980s. And so once you organize by decade, then you would go within the 1980s and organize those by year. And so you'd, again, make a box, a pile, a bag of 1981, 1982. And of course, all of us have lived long enough that we know it probably doesn't matter if something happened in April or May of 1982. 1982 is enough. Or even just early 1980s is enough. So just do the best you can and try to keep yourself more regimented and so you don't get stuck in all the cute little memories. And just try to get yourself just to get them organized.
When it says number them, do you mean like the 60s, 70s?
Yeah, right.
Or
yeah.
Exactly how did you?
Yeah, number like your container or your box or something. Otherwise, when you come back to the next day, you stacked them all up and you're, oh, which one was the 60s? Then you'd be back in there digging again and looking at all the neat pictures. So my next step is to share with you some examples of projects that other clients have done, and maybe that'll help give you some more ideas. So this client lives in the north part of Fort Collins. His name is Marvin Martin, and he's just the nicest gentleman, and he brought in a bunch of 8mm movie films. And so back in the day, he was quite the horseman, so he did rope tricks, and he made his own unicycle and rode that around, and he did tricks with his horse. And so with his movie films, they were all transferred and made digital, and then he added narration, which really helps tell the story, so that he's telling it in his words. You know, we can enjoy hearing his voice and having him tell the story so we can see more than just watching the pictures. We get to more of the background information of things that we don't just see. And he also added some country western background music so that we had two things going on at once, but it works very well. So we'll play a little clip of that I'm sure you'll enjoy.